Alrighty. Well, good morning, I guess.
Good morning.
This is our known office hours for March. I guess it's March.
Yep, it's still March.
Wow.
It's almost April.
March 2015. So, thank you for joining us. If you're joining us live, hello. And if you are joining us on the recording, hello as well.
And I'm going to try and enable Periscope.
Oh, really?
Maybe. Keep talking.
All right, good luck. So we have lots of things to talk about. If you have any questions, list them in the Q&A alongside. Otherwise, this is very distracting, I want you to know. You know what you could do if you wanted to while you're on your phone is maybe send out another tweet saying that we're live right now.
I can't send a tweet from my phone to the stream.
Good. So testing, always nice. So at the tail end of March, known 0.7.6 is imminent. We have a number of different little features showing up in there and lots and lots of improvements. So one of the things that's going to show up is a test version, call it an alpha version, of the WordPress importer. So if you have a WordPress blog and you want to bring its content into Known, as I do, then we are going to be, this is really continuing to be incredibly distracting.
No, just keep talking.
I'm going to keep talking, I guess.
We're live on Periscope now.
All right, well, so we're streaming on multiple fronts. The see, I've forgotten what I was talking about because you're doing that. WordPress importer. That's in testing, so that's there. It's not on the hosted Known service, but it is in the open source code base. And we would love for you to continue to test. We're also testing the community plugins for Tumblr and posting to WordPress, but we're actually going to hold those back. We're not going to put them into the 0.7.6 package. Our intention, though, is that we will put them in the 0.7.7 package, and I believe both of those were created by Tim Owens over at Reclaim Hosting. So we're very grateful for his contributions to the community.
So if you are a self-hoster, you can expect to see those in the package that comes out at the end of April. You can, of course, find the community plugins at any point and use those as well. However, we're going to bring them into core and make a few changes to make them more consistent with the way our other plugins function. So that update will be at the end of April.
And we've got some sort of core system updates that will also make that easier for the future as well. So that's, we want to make sure that we do that work right. We want to make sure that feature's right. So it's coming a little later on. The other thing that will come at the end of April is known to known import, as in single click known to known import. So you'll be able to log into a new known site, say, hey, my old known site is over here, and it'll do a little dance, and at the end of it, all your content will be in the new known site. So that's coming pretty soon. It does include, all the stuff all the work we've done around Blogger import and WordPress import have been, that's also laid the groundwork for that. So that's coming.
Yeah. So right now we have Blogger import, and that's live for everyone. We have the WordPress import, which will be coming to the hosted service very soon. And then the known import will be coming just shortly after that, a few weeks after. But with Blogger, you're able to import. So that import is an XML file that you get out of Blogger.
So
have people been trying other files like that from other platforms?
So here's how it works. Actually, both Blogger and WordPress are XML files. Bloggers is actually a pretty standard Atom feed. WordPress is a little less standard. In both cases, they use a whole bunch of namespacing in the XML to get a little technical. They've got their own custom fields. So what some people have experimented with importing from other services and other platforms, but really, in both cases, although they're using open standards, they're doing it in a really proprietary way. So that's why we have to create a new importer every time for each of these services. We're looking really closely, actually, at the known export package. Right now, it does JSON, it does HTML, it does a SQL dump. But maybe we should also be doing a single feed like these platforms are as well. The other thing that we're doing that it turns out those platforms aren't doing is importing embedded images. So if you've embedded an image into your Blogger blog, or you've embedded an image into your WordPress blog and you're hosting it on that image on that blog, we'll actually pull that across as well as part of the import. So there's no need to do anything extra there. And that's also what's going to happen with the known to known import. So you don't have to worry about downloading your uploads folder and transporting it and putting it somewhere else. We'll just make sure that the full content of the post comes with the post itself.
You know what else we need?
What do we need?
A selfie stick. Because I'm holding my phone out here awkwardly trying to get Periscope to work. What we really need is a selfie stick, and that would be so awesome.
I saw when I was driving to this is a total aside, but when I was driving to Santa Rosa over the weekend, I saw somebody driving with a selfie stick pointing out the passenger side of the window. And that was...
Were they recording the car or the scenery, do you think?
They were recording themselves driving in the car. So
one way to do it.
So apparently we're much fresher on Monday. I don't feel that much fresher, but we feel we're much fresher on Monday than Friday. So maybe we'll start doing this as a regular thing. I think probably Monday is a better day anyway. It starts the week off, right? So thank you to everybody who's joined us. We do have Q&A on the side. You can also tweet us at WithKnown. You can send us a message in the IRC channel. All of those things work, and we would love to hear your questions.
Are you signed into IRC?
I am signed into IRC. Would I say you can talk to us on IRC if I wasn't signed in?
I feel like I would say that and then not be signed in.
Well, anyway, so here's what else. We, in addition to all those things that are coming next month, this month's release is going to have some session fixes. So some people were finding that they were being logged out randomly, particularly after uploading large files or doing large exports, that kind of thing. That's actually been fixed. That particularly affected MongoDB users, but it affected other people too, and it kind of came to a head when we released the WordPress importer into the open source code base last week. So we fixed that. That should be much more stable. The other thing that we've done that's kind of interesting is we've increased the quality of the thumbnails when you upload a photo. And some people who are using Known for photography sites were particularly asking for that.
Yeah.
So we pushed that up. We may actually make that a configuration setting in the future, but right now we pushed the quality settings right up. It doesn't really have that significant effect on file size, but the thumbnails do look a lot better. So that's great. And the other thing that's coming, well, it's not the other thing, we've got a couple more things on the list here, but the other visible thing that's coming is the bookmark tool. So we have a difference in how we use Known here on the team. I'm not a bookmarker. Erin is a huge bookmarker.
I was a big Delicious fan back in the day.
So,
yeah, and I've had self-hosted bookmarking things running on my personal site for a while, trying to recreate that.
So just as an aside, the IRC channel is Known Chat on Freenode. Sorry, we didn't mention that. So that's Known Chat on Freenode. Yeah, and so, we're different kinds of people. I close my browser every night. Erin has a billion tabs, that kind of thing. At least to keep things. I figure if I don't remember it, it can't be that important. So,
but it is important. Like, I remember where in the string of tabs the one that I was looking for was, like how far back it was.
So,
and then if it's not there, it's gone.
So all of this is to say that the bookmark tool in Known is getting some improvements, particularly around titles, and there's two big improvements. One is that right now there has been a bit of a bug, and I apologize for this. When you edit bookmarks, the title didn't persist. And the other thing is when you use the bookmarklet, so the button that you can drag to your browser toolbar in order to easily bookmark anything on the web, that was, that was working fine, but it was always taking the title of the page from the page. So if you actually edited the title, those edits wouldn't hold. And if you wanted to write your own bookmarklet and tweak the bookmarklet a little bit, those edits wouldn't hold either. So what we've done, and and actually we're going to commit this later today, so it's not even in the open source code base. But we've made sure that your edits to the titles and the bookmarks are the ones that actually hold, so that you can do better filing. You can use your own naming conventions if you want to, create the title that makes the most sense for you, so you can find it later on.
That's probably a good time to mention, actually, that there is a bookmarklet, and there are some other browser extensions. A lot of people don't realize, but you can add the bookmarklet to your browser, which would let you bookmark things, share things to your known sites, and reply to posts. If you're on any other web page that happens to be a known site or a site that supports web mentions, you can reply right there from the bookmarklet in the browser. And that works with all browsers, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
all browsers.
All browsers on the desktop.
Right. And we also have the Firefox extension, right? So there's that as well. And you'll find all of those under tools and apps in your account settings.
So, and we're building more. I mean, a lot of people have asked for actual mobile apps, partially because bookmarklets are a pain, and partially because mobile devices are still not great at uploading large media files, for example. And that is something that is on the roadmap. It's kind of, we have to prioritize development, but for everybody who's been asking for an Android app and an iPhone app, yes, that has to come. That has to come, and we will be doing that. And honestly, it's an open source project. We need your help. So, we'll talk about that some more as the year goes on. But we really do want to have that, and we want to make known as much as possible a really excellent mobile first experience. Other things, PubSub Hubbub, which is my favorite standard name, web standard name ever, PubSub Hubbub. It's I
think you could add a couple extra hubs to the end.
PubSub Hubbub.
Yep.
So that is all about making sure that when people are subscribing to your feed, they get the latest updates very quickly. We've made some fixes to that in collaboration with Julien over at Superfeeder, which is an amazing company. If you haven't checked it out, they do great work around both feed aggregation and creating PubSub Hubbub hubs. So that's been really helpful, and that paves the groundwork for more PubSub Hubbub-based functionality in Known. I cannot say it enough.
You can just say push, right? But that's not nearly as fun.
PubSub Hubbub. So other things on the list, Open Graph fixes. So we've tweaked the way Open Graph tags show up in Known. That should, if you are showing, sharing on sites like Facebook, and other sites also use Open Graph tags, your content should be showcased in a much, a much more refined way.
What about Twitter?
Twitter. I was afraid you were going to ask that. So Twitter cards. The difference between Facebook and Twitter when it comes to showing extra content when you share a link is that on Facebook, if those tags exist, hooray, it'll show the extra content. On Twitter, you actually have to be whitelisted. So what we're doing, and you have to include, a Twitter username as well. So what we're doing is we're going to build support in for the Twitter tags. We're going to then try and do this as cleverly as we can so that you can, if you add a Twitter account to your profile, you're going to, your content will be associated with that Twitter account. But then you're going to have to whitelist your content, and I'm sorry about that. There's nothing we can do because that's the way Twitter works. But we'll try and make it as painless as possible. So so that when you share a link on Twitter, you can already have a summary of your content. You can have a summary photo, that kind of thing. So that's definitely coming. We want it for our own stuff. We know other people want it too. And not just for photos and not just for articles, but also, for example, when you upload media. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if you're uploading audio to let people just play the audio right there? I think that would be cool.
Yep.
So, all right. And then a couple of other things about the software itself. In the last release, we stuck in an upload folder to make it easier for people to create their upload folder where all the incoming content goes. That somewhat backfired. Quite a few people, when they were grading their content, just simply overwrote their upload folder. So we're not going to do that for this release. We're going to find another way around that. That's not great, but of course, if you're using the hosted service, that's not an issue you need to worry about at all. It's just something for the self-hosters. But we're going to try and make that as seamless as possible. I think WordPress makes you create the folder. I think there are different ways around it. It depends what permissions you have on the server, and that's kind of why self-hosting is always going to be a little bit more complicated, because every hosting provider is a little bit different, and we want to do a lot more around virtual servers and kind of providing server images, so you just get something that works out of the box that you can keep upgraded out of the box as time goes on. Similarly tricky, Bridgie on Facebook pages. So Bridgie, for all users, it's a third-party service. It's a fantastic service, great team that runs it, and that's what looks at all your interactions on Facebook and Twitter, etc., and brings them back into your known site.
And if you're not familiar with Bridgie, the URL is brid.gy. So there's no .com or anything, just brid.gy.
But it's also built directly into Known, so you have you can just go to Bridgie in your site configuration, or in your settings rather, and make a connection there. But it's not right now picking up Facebook page interactions, and that's partially because they just added it, and it's partially because the way Bridgie works is it looks for a reference to the original URL on the page, and we actually don't have those references in the Facebook page posts. So we need to look at adding those.
And Facebook Pages is a new feature that we added a month ago now, give or take. That came out, right, 2015. So it came out in the last, I guess, 6 to 8 weeks for pro users as a pro feature, Facebook Pages. And then if you're a self-hoster, you can get it in the plugin as well.
Yeah. So everyone can make use of it. It is fantastic. You get to keep all of your interactions on your site, but we need to add support for Facebook Pages, so we'll do that. On that note, since last we spoke, Known Pro is out. It's in the wild. Anybody can sign up and get the great Known Pro features as part of their hosted Known site, and that means an infinite number of social media accounts per service. So you can syndicate to as many Twitter accounts, as many Facebook accounts, as many Facebook pages as you like. It's got LinkedIn.
LinkedIn pages for your business or your organization.
Google Plus is coming very shortly. We've worked with Google to create that.
So that'll be Google Plus pages, also for your business or your organization, your group, whatever you've got there.
It's got unlimited storage. You can use your own domain. There's lots of stuff. More to come. You've got webhooks. You can actually connect it to Slack as well if you use Slack inside your organization. So that's the thing. We've had lots of great feedback from Known Pro. We're going to keep going with that and just add more and more to it. It's going to be, we're really pleased basically with the way people picked it up so far. So that's just at withknown.com/pro. If you're interested in kind of the features, you can either it's a monthly, pretty cheap, I would say, monthly subscription, or an annual price that also shaves a couple of months of price off the total. We're also still working with people who want to create their own social site. So we still offer services, and you can see that at withknown.com/services.
I'm gonna spill my coffee.
We almost have to have a coffee accident.
That would be bad. I already spilled coffee on my arm once this morning. I know something that's happening behind the scenes. So right now, we've talked about it in the past, but we are in the process of upgrading from old Bootstrap 2 something that's not supported anymore, to the most recent Bootstrap 3 something or other, that is the latest and greatest Bootstrap. So you won't really see it unless you take a peek at the GitHub page, but we are kind of behind the scenes working through that upgrade to get the platform on the latest version and make those changes in the code and the CSS. And once that's done, that's going to open up the door for us to do some changes to the layout, the design, and the themes. So that's sort of going along in the background. Should be wrapped up in the next week or so. There isn't really that much left to do. It's mostly a matter of checking everything at this point to make sure we've gotten all the little bits and pieces where class names and things are different. So once that's done, that'll be a nice thing to get over with and a good opportunity to move forward with some new design and layout changes.
Yeah, so I mean, so you can expect that in the release that comes out at the end of April or sooner, probably if you're on the hosted site. So yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to really playing with templates and kind of doing some new stuff. So definitely, if you I'm really pleased with the kind of the interaction that we have over on GitHub. Lots of people kind of filing issues, lots of people talking about ideas, same on the mailing list. I think it's really important to do the same sorts of things around design. So definitely, keep those ideas coming. Let us know what your issues are and what you'd like to see. And that helps us, figure things out as well.
And you can find the mailing list if you haven't already joined it. If you go to
withknown.com/open source.
And there'll be the IRC, the mailing list, and other contact places, GitHub and things are all there.
We do still, we are still looking hard at creating the community site for the open source community. We have some really interesting ideas actually in terms of kind of how to really support group communication in this context. So that's something that we will be rolling out a little later on. We have rewritten the documentation site in the meantime. So we've actually redone all of Known's documentation. It's now in Markdown format. You can still find it at docs.withknown.com. And we've started taking already more pull requests for it, which is fantastic. Definitely feel free to contribute to the documentation. It's actually just part of the core code base in Known. But check it out. There's now more information, for example, about upgrading. There's more information about setting it up on particular shared hosts.
And there'll be more information on shared host coming soon. Now that that's in place, we can get a lot more instructions there. So if you've got a shared host that you use that you like, definitely let us know so we can get some instructions in place.
All right, we have our first ever question on Periscope, which is fading away before I could read the question.
Multi-image post for Twitter.
Yes, multi-image post for Twitter, and frankly, multi-image post for Known. Yeah, that's definitely on the radar. We want to do it. Albums are really important. More and more people are using Known for photography, and just posting them one at a time is kind of a pain. But here's the thing. If you're doing that from a mobile device, honestly, mobile browsers are going to weep tears of pain. So this is a situation where we would love to see stronger mobile browsers with better upload and compose functionality, but failing that, we're going to need to build an app.
I'm sure they'll have that sorted out next month.
Yeah, no problem at all. And we'll have an app next month, No, it takes a little longer to put all this stuff together, but I think at this point, having something that really works for us and works for the community is important, and we definitely don't want to hold people back by sort of slavishly sticking to what the web browsers can do. So let's push things forward. Let's push the envelope a little bit and build something new. So yes, definitely want to have multiple multi-image posts on the desktop. That's no problem at all. And we definitely want to syndicate multi-image posts, syndicate albums, all of those things. Really important. And I think what will happen is we'll do it in Core Known first. I mean, it has to be that we do it in Core Known first, and then we'll look at making it kind of a community effort to help push all of the syndication plugins as well.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Any other questions out there in the internet land? Questions? Send us a question on Twitter or IRC or Google Hangout or.
Yeah, if you're on the Hangout, you can use the
Periscope.
Q&A. We are on IRC. I guess the Periscope questions come in via Twitter, so feel free. @withknown. We've got a few more minutes here. We've made it a slightly shorter show today, but Yeah. I have a question, actually, for everybody, which is, if we could wave a magic wand.
No.
Huh? Yeah, I'm doing this. If we could wave a magic wand and support posting one new thing in Known, what would it be? So we didn't plan this question. Aaron's looking at me like I'm crazy. But
No, I don't want to influence people's responses, but I have my idea in mind.
Yeah, I have an idea too. But let us know what you would add to Known. What would make your life better? So we already have one response.
I love video.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about video a little bit?
Okay, we can talk about video.
Since it's not like you've ever worked in the video space before.
Okay, before we do that, quick question coming in. Can I import all my tweets from Twitter? The answer is not yet, but yes, we want to be able to do this too. We'll probably do this using the export package that Twitter provides. You can go into Twitter and say, give me all my tweets as an archive, and then we'll take that in and do something with that. That's not imminent, but it is something we want to do. In terms of video is hard. That's my answer. Video is hard, yo. It's super hard because the file sizes are huge. There's a million different video formats. If you record 5 minutes of video on an iPhone, I think it's even an iPhone 4, it runs to 1 gigabyte. So how do you upload that using a web-based tool? And the answer is, you don't. So what we'll have to do is we will have to have an app that allows you to upload video from a mobile device. Of course, on the desktop, you can easily upload to, for example, already YouTube allows you to upload videos using web browser, and we can support that too. On the back end, you then need to do what's called transcoding that video to make it easy to play. And so, for example, what YouTube does is it always keeps your original video that you upload. They actually do that for compliance reasons, but they then make a whole bunch of different copies of it, like for really low bandwidth situations, for medium bandwidth situations, for different devices, and so on. And so they end up storing a bunch of different videos. And the result is a pretty clean viewing experience. But that's really hard to do if you are self-hosting on a
very bad shared host.
Or a shared host. I don't want to cast aspersions about shared hosts, but we can transcode video. So we're going to have to find another way to let you support video wherever you're hosting it. Like if it's on our hosted service, of course we can run a transcoding service, and I imagine that we will. And maybe you can, use that with your self-hosted node, so you don't have to worry about video transcoding on your shared host or on your personal server or whatever. So that's something we're thinking about. But anyway, the point is, right now it's a little difficult. You have to get the file into Known to begin with, and then you have to transcode it. And so, being able to do that is hard. Before I did Known, I used to work for a company called Latitude that does that actually for broadcast news, does all of those things. And they're a fantastic company that are worth checking out if you need to do that now. I think eventually the needs for Known are a little bit different because it's all about streaming rather than delivering high quality content. And so
yeah, and I would just say, like, from the very beginning, a year ago or so, we'd already started thinking about video. You started building in like the initial little bits of what it would look like to upload video. So it's definitely always been something that's been on our minds. And if it was awesomely easy, it would be there. And because we've not focused on it 100%, but it's definitely something that we always have in the back of our mind and we're thinking about.
Yeah, and doing it as well in a standards-based way, in a way that you can export, all of those things is really important to us. So yeah, stay tuned. And any thoughts you have on that? Always very much appreciated. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so there was one vote for, over on Periscope, there was one vote for files, PDFs,
Yeah.
syndication to SlideShare, I believe.
I
So,
think it said scribed,
Scribed, right.
which, by the way, I've always pronounced as scripty, and someone corrected my pronunciation recently. It's scribed.
Right.
But
file
yeah,
uploads
yes.
in general, PDFs, other types of files, is something that we've definitely been considering and talking through how that might look.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say it's definitely coming. So that's.
So what type of content what's your special type of content?
Oh, that's it. I have several. Can I cheat? One is actually cleaner audio upload, being able to upload audio from mobile.
Okay, but that's not really a different type of content. That's just a content improvement.
Okay. I want to be able to upload. I'm such a geek. I want to be able to upload data. I want to be able to go out in the field, and by which I mean out of my office, and take my mobile device and say, okay, I'm standing here and I'm doing a species count.
Citizen science data.
Citizen science
Yeah.
data, yeah. Here are the number of birds of this particular species out in the world, and I'm just going to record it here with a GPS coordinate, and boom, it's on my known stream, and then I can take that and convert it. I mean, Known already converts to KML. We have a number of different export formats, maybe take a CSV of that data and do something with it later on.
Yeah.
I have something to add that wasn't on our agenda, which is that Known now has command line tools, and which were community contributed, which means that you can actually start to think about at least having connected devices, so that's your Internet of Things devices, that post to their own Known stream. And from there, use the syndication tools, the API, the templating tools in Known to do something with that data. So you're pulling in data from all kinds of places, from all kinds of devices, and people are already doing this, by the way, with their infrastructure and data centers. Yeah, pull it into a central place from which you can interrogate it using standard tools.
So what you're saying is pretty soon your refrigerator will be on Known.
Your refrigerator will be on Known. The indie web of things. It's going to be great. I actually think it's super cool. Marcus Povey wrote that, and I'm pretty excited. I think it's a really interesting thing. Request for synchronizing Pinboard with the bookmarking tool, including tags. A+ thumbs up.
So Pinboard, Instapaper, what are all the read it later, Pocket. We've heard
Pinboard's my favorite, I have to say.
I think we've heard Pinboard the most of all those.
Yeah. I like Pinboard. I'm a Pinboard member. And I also like I think their social media strategy, such as it is, they have the best Twitter of any startup ever. But I love them. I love him, rather, I should say. I think he's great. I think we will do this, and we'll do this quickly. So stay tuned.
Don't you want to know what my content type is?
I'm sorry.
So I'm thinking books. Uh-oh, what happened?
You flipped the camera. It's a nice view of her outside over on Periscope.
No. Periscope broke.
Yeah, look, I'll do it.
So I'm thinking that books would be a cool content type. I've been thinking about books for a while, and other people have asked for books that syndicate to what's the Goodreads. But the ability to upload a book as a content type might be kind of interesting, where you can capture like the basic stuff, but some of the metadata around that. Maybe if we were extra fancy, if we had a mobile app, we could scan barcodes and grab it. Some of that kind of stuff. But the ability to upload information around a book that you've read or that you're reading or that you have on your bookshelf, and then throw in like your review of it or your description of it, and just save a list of things that you've read or that you want to read. Could be kind of interesting.
That'd be really cool. I like. Do you remember Book Crossing?
No.
Book Crossing is like a global library. I don't know if it's still around. It's sort of, so the idea was that once you finished a book, other people could say, hey, I want to read this book, and you could send it to them. Or you could leave it in public locations and then other people could pick it up, and you got to follow the book around the world. I actually just discovered in my neighborhood in Berkeley a kind of a version of that, a free library that someone had put outside their house.
Oh yeah, there's a free library a couple streets away from my house too.
I love it. I really love it. Anyway, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. You can take your phone back.
No, I'm just gonna point it back at you.
Yeah, let's put it on the laptop like this so it doesn't. What happens with Periscope if you
I don't know.
do that?
We'll have to
Either
find
we're on
out.
our side or anyway.
Next time, office hours, April with a selfie stick.
Yeah, we're going to be mucking around with various apps, I guess, going on. All right, we're already over time, so shall we call it?
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate you being a part of our community. And
you can find the recording of this on our stream later today.
on our stream, that's at stream.withknown.com, as always.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.